Hey, what's up guys? So we're here to go over what's new on Season 21 for Diablo 3. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. So first off, the patch notes, just as a heads up, are going to be what's happening on PTR. And that's going to be happening on May 21st. So that's actually going to be very soon over here. So next week we're going to be able to get our hands on the new sets for Demon Hunter as well as the Necromancer. Plus there's a lot of buffs and nerfs that we'll go over as well. So anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into, of course, the seasonal buff for Season 21. So we'll basically summarize it, but pretty much what it comes down to is every 2 minutes, you're going to be able to channel an elemental power which unleashes into the environment for a limited time. So you can have meteors rain down from the sky, you can breathe lightning, a wall of flame engulfs everything, release twisters of pure energy, and you can also crush your foes under the weight of rolling snowballs. So what that kind of looks like is kind of like the Pandemonium where we have these as kill streaks. Apparently it's just going to be every 2 minutes. I'm kind of curious to see how good these are and if these will also scale with elemental damage because they are messing around with that, and I'll get into that later in the video because it's kind of towards the very bottom. But that's going to be the seasonal buff, so every once in a while you'll have something that maybe will eliminate everything on the screen. Again, we don't know how powerful these are, and just as a heads up, there's no gameplay out as of right now, so we're just going to be literally looking at the patch notes. But if you guys are new here and you guys want to see gameplay of this, make sure you guys are subscribed with the bell notification rung, and as soon as the gameplay comes out, guys, for the PTR, I'll get you guys gameplay footage for that. But at the moment, we don't know how powerful these are going to be yet. Anyways, next up, the most important thing is, of course, those newer items and the new sets. So Demon Hunter is getting a new set, and it's going to be called the Gears of the Dreadlands. So this I'll read in its full entirety here. So with the 2-piece bonus, you are able to gain a momentum stack when attacking with a primary skill. Each momentum stack lasts 2 seconds at a maximum duration of 10 seconds. Your primary skills deal 10% more damage per stack of momentum. With the 4-piece bonus, casting Strafe against enemies will automatically shoot your last used primary skill and also give you 60% damage reduction while strafing and for 5 seconds after. While casting Strafe, you move faster per stack of momentum. So if any of you guys have played the Vala's Bequest, basically a LOD or a LON build, it is still very viable to play basically a Whirlwind Demon Hunter, which is basically Strafe, which is quite nice, and this is going to be more so supporting it. It's probably going to be a lot better than running that build because you're going to be able to scale things much higher, as you guys will see over here with these other bonuses. And with the 6-piece bonus, your primary skills are going to deal 10,000% more damage, so a huge multiplier here, but it doesn't stop there. So a buff with some of the bows that normally didn't see too much play. In fact, I don't think really anyone used a lot of these. These are all having to do with the primary skills for the Demon Hunter. So with the Bow of Hashir, you're going to make it so bolas now have 100% chance to cast an explosion to pull enemies within 24 yards and deal massive amounts of increased damage. So that's quite nice for that. And then with the Imime's Duffel, which is going to be a quiver, it's going to make it so bolas now explode instantly and deal a bonus damage of 150 to 175% increased damage. And then with the 9th Siri Satchel over here, Hungering Arrow is guaranteed to pierce and also deals 450 to 600% increased damage. And then we have Odyssey's End. Enemies snared by Entangling Shot take 100 to 150% increased damage from all sources. So this is where Demon Hunter is going to be very high potential to be one of the best classes if this stays here. And because you're able to go ahead and cycle through your different primary skills, this actually opens up the doors for very interesting play where you don't need to scale Entangling Shot. You just have to hit them with it because once they're snared by that, they'll just take 150% more damage from all sources. So this can actually support group play a little bit, and you'll be able to clear out trash very fast. And if you really want maybe a Rift Guardian killer in a group, what you could do is mix in not only having this, because this is 100% is the only reason why Demon Hunter would be viable because of group play with this new ability here with the Odyssey's End. If you happen to use Hungering Arrow and the piercings just starts going off, you might be able to deal a decent amount of damage with Demon Hunter. We'll see where this goes to see what you're going to be mixing in. Obviously, with Odyssey's End, that is 100% a must take. And then on top of that, you have to have, of course, have Entailing Shot. But what else do you mix it in with? Are you going to mix it in with Hungering Arrows, so now that you have good single target? Or are you going to mix it in with something that will have bolas to have explosions over here and group up all of the enemies? We'll have to wait and see what people do. I mean, you could throw multiple of them, but ideally you just try to go through one because you can't equip every single bonus over here. So that's quite nice. Then this is the Bounty Hunter's Wrath. It makes it so your primary skills will attack faster, but now instead of at 45 to 60%, we now are at 150 to 200% increased damage. So that's a nice little buff over there, since this new Demon Hunter build is basically a strafe build. Even though it's supposed to be with primary skills, your strafe will be casting it. I'm guessing that's how it works. We don't have gameplay of it yet, but I'm assuming you don't actually need to cast your primary skills more than once. You just activate it once, and then it's going to automatically cast with strafe, but you might have to mix in some of those entangling shots just so you can make sure that you get that extra bonus damage on, let's say, elite packs or something. But again, Demon Hunter is looking pretty good. I'm excited because Demon Hunter has not been the toppest of tier for quite some patches over here, especially for solo play or even group play for the most part. But we're also getting another buff, just in case any of you guys don't want to play the new set. The Shadow Impale set, the Holy Point Shot, gets a bonus of 75 to 100% increased damage. So that's going to be a huge buff for any of you guys that do like to play that. I technically played it for very many seasons, and I still enjoy that build, but I obviously want to get the new content here first, so we'll definitely be building both builds, and we'll see where we can go with them. Next up, though, Necromancer over here. There's actually a lot of cool things here with Necromancers. There are, just as a heads up, some nerfs with him as well. But anyways, the new Necromancer set, the Masquerade of Burning Carnival over here. So with a 2-piece bonus, your Simulacrum makes it so you no longer take damage with the Simulacrum, and it gains all runes, and its cooldown is refreshed if you die, which is actually really huge, especially since if you have to reset, it's absolutely terrible on Necromancer, especially if you've ever played the Mage build, because sometimes you just don't get those mages up fast enough, and it's just, you just die again. Anyways, the 4-piece bonus over here, while you have Simulacrum, damage is reduced by 50%, but then also damage you take is split with your Simulacrums as well. I'm not sure what the split is, if it's split between if you have multiple Simulacrums, if it divides it up by, like, let's say 1/3 if you have 2 other ones, or if it's just going to be 50% extra damage reduction on top of 50%. So this could actually be a huge way for them to survive. And then with the 6-piece bonus, your Bone Spear now deals 10,000% increased damage, and Simulacrums gain triple this bonus. So that is going to be huge. So we're looking at a Bone Spear build, but there's actually a bonus here that has to do with Corpse Explosion as well. So with the Wraps of Essence over here, when exploded corpse damages at least one enemy, your Corpse Explosion deals, it used to be 75 to 100, now it's 150 to 200%, so double damaging that, and then also increased damage for 6 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So not only are you getting double the bonus here, but every stack is basically double, so still kind of double, essentially, of what it used to be, but it's gonna, again, scale much better because the numbers are going to be much higher. Then with Haunted Visions, Simulacrum now drains, instead of 5%, it's now 1% of your maximum life every second and lasts forever. This is actually pretty nice. It says they can now duplicate Grim Scythe instead of Skeletal Mage. So kind of a nerf in that sense over here, because it's instead of Skeletal Mage. And then with Raz's Volition over here, Skeletal Mage gains the effect of the Gift of Death and Singularity Runes. You gain 35 to 60% damage reduction if your essence is not full. We'll also get into some more nerfs, why this actually can matter. Anyways, Jaseth Arms, that is the 2-piece set item for the Necromancer that really no one uses. Anyways, it says, while your skeletons are commanded to attack a target, you deal 400% increased damage. So now it's looking a lot better over here, because again, no one really used it. The Grace of Inarius is also getting a buff over here. The 4-piece set bonus makes it so Bone Armor grants an additional 3% damage reduction. So another survivability over here, and obviously you can get more stacks, so it's going to scale a little bit better. But with the Grace of Inarius, it hasn't been the most popular of things for quite some time, especially since with Season 20 we had the ability to throw in a lot of things in the Knight's Cube. I don't know if this is going to make it more viable. We needed more damage, honestly, with the Grace of Inarius. The damage reduction is nice. Necromancer definitely will be able to survive a lot better, especially with that 4-piece bonus of the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival. But again, I just don't think this is going to make this viable. Next up, though, the Pestilence build over here. So the Pestilence Master's Shroud, the 6-piece bonus makes it so what it does is we're basically doubling it over here. Instead of 1650, you're looking at 3300% with the bonus damage of Corpse Lance and Corpse Explosion, which obviously we have that bonus of the Corpse Explosion already with the doubling of it. And then on top of that, there's another buff, which we'll get into in a moment here. But what's interesting here also is where it gains all of the runes. This is actually pretty big, and I did want to mention this because I saw a lot of people talking about this. So anyways, since it gains all of its runes, this is actually pretty big because Simulacrum, what it does is you create like a clone and it will duplicate your secondary skills. But now that you're going to have this, you're going to be able to apply all 3 curses, which is actually huge because you can just run an aura that automatically applies your curses anyways, and you're going to be able to apply them to all of the multipliers over here. But anyways, this is actually really big over here. Again, this is also quite nice over here with some of the weapons that you can equip. You're going to be getting bonus damage for more essence, so again, this is nice for that. And then on top of that, if you would die, it's destroyed, but it can't take damage. So I'm wondering how that's going to work. You just might just get revived for free over here. And then the duration is reduced, but it doesn't really matter because it lasts forever anyways. But this is really big because it will apply all 3 of the curses, which is going to give you the ability to reduce the movement speed so you can proc like you're being trapped. And then on top of that, they're going to be doing 30% less damage. So it's, again, more survivability because you're going to be able to apply that. And then on top of that, you have Leech, which is the biggest of things. It's just frailty that people really like, that just kills enemies with less than 15% health. So again, because you're going to be able to auto cast it, you can actually just get all of them, and it's just basically 30% damage reduction. Again, Leech can help some other players, but it's just overall just going to be nice to have all of those all at once at all time because it lasts forever, which is very nice. Anyways, next up, I wanted to briefly mention the Shield of Fury over here is actually taking quite a bit of a nerf. That is the Crusader Shield. Crusaders were absolutely destroying leaderboards for the longest time. But on top of that, yeah, it is going to be getting nerfed over here. When you would damage people with Heaven's Fury, it's going to keep on stacking and you're going to get more and more damage. However, this is basically being nerfed in half over here with, of course, these latest patch notes. So instead of being 20, it is now 10 times. So it's half of what it used to be. Now, going into some more interesting choices over here. There's actually another nerf which we'll get into that has to do with Witch Doctor, but the Stone of Jordan says added power. Each of your elementals damage bonus is equal to your highest static elemental bonus to skill. And we'll get into why this matters in a second here, but I'll just go read all of them first. Reaper's Reps added a 2-second internal cooldown to the health globe effect. This is basically a nerf to any of the skeletal mage builds, which would basically be ones that would be able to go through super fast, and basically you look at their essence and it would just go up and down like crazy. But you have Devour. Is it going to ruin the build? Probably not, but it still is technically a nerf to specifically that. There's not anything that really gets that much benefit or usage out of the Reaper's Wraps than they really did. And then on top of that, Mantle of Channeling now works with the Necromancer's Blood Siphon. Doesn't really matter. No, not really. I don't think people are going to be interested in doing the channeling because, of course, we have that new set that is going to be all about Corpse Explosion and, of course, the Bone Spear. But now with Convention of Elements, it says added non-static to the wording of the legendary powers description. The functionality is unchanged. So what this means is that it won't be working with Stone of Jordan specifically, but there might be some other things that gives you a bonus damage for a set amount of time that would be set to non-static, if that makes sense. So basically, if you're looking at something that would be static, would be something like, for example, Cinder Coat, you just have fire skills just deal more damage. That would be considered static. But this can also be kind of good because what this could mean, even if you're playing something that would use ice, each one of them is actually equal to the highest one. So what this means is certain items, let's say for Cinder Coat, if you're running like an LOD or a LON build, you can actually think about picking up Cinder Coat. Even if you don't deal fire, everything would then be converted equally to the highest static. That's also going to be great for anyone that's interested in using the Swampland Waders over here. Again, these are just more for theory crafting. I was also thinking about other things that wouldn't be LOD, LON, and the only thing I could think of off the top of my head was maybe like a Tal Rasha's build with Stone of Jordan. Because again, you just try to scale one element and everything is going to be equal to it, but it's very rare that you'll see Diablo builds using multiple skills. But remember, we also have that build where you're going to be able to use the newer set with the Demon Hunter, where you again have to use Entangling Shot. So maybe you can try that. I don't know if that's going to be viable, though, to try to mix in the elements with that, but it is something I wanted to go ahead and mention. Again, I like to do theory crafting, and Tal Rasha is one of the sets that can tactically scale with convention of elements very well, where you try to cycle a certain skill when you go ahead and rotate right into it. So that's kind of cool over there. And then also skill changes over here. Most of these are small, minus Witch Doctor's huge nerf, but Final Service no longer consumes pets. So again, I would say this is pretty much a buff overall. And then Bone Prism, Simulacrum now benefits from this passive skill, and then Serration, Simulacrum benefits from it as well. Corpse Explosion just flat increased from 350 to 1050 over here. So again, a huge buff to Corpse Explosion. But the most important thing over here actually has to do with the Witch Doctor. Huge nerf. So Spirit Barrage, the Spectres from the Phantasm Rune no longer benefit from pet bonuses. This actually really had to do with the Mask of Jerem, as well as anything that would technically scale with pet damage no longer will be working with the Witch Doctor Spirit Barrage set. Originally, I would say Witch Doctor and Crusader were absolutely just tearing it up, and again, they have both been nerfed, and everything else is kind of getting buffed over here. But the small little bug fixes, and it just tells you how to participate in the PTR, so nothing too important. But anyways, I'm curious to know what you guys think of these newest changes. Do you guys like them? Do you dislike them? What would you have wanted to see? I actually was really hoping for a Chakram build with the like ninja stars, but nonetheless, it's still really cool that we have something completely new to mess around with. And I'm definitely going to be starting off with Demon Hunter. And like I said, if you are new here, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on that bell, so when the gameplay is available, I'll get you guys a gameplay literally day one, and I'll be playing Demon Hunter for sure first, and then we'll do the Necromancer. Obviously, we'll probably mess around with everything because I like to test out everything. But let me know, guys, what you guys are going to be playing in Season 21 with the upcoming PTR coming up very soon. I'll get you guys gameplay of it, and we'll see which one is going to be the best. Keep in mind, some of these might be buffed and nerfed as the PTR will be changing, so what we see here might actually be nerfed. I'm really curious to know if this will actually stay, because I really think that this won't stay, where it's just going to be 150%. Like, this is just way too much. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But anyways, thanks for tuning, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. And like I said, if you're new here, subscribe, turn on that bell, and I'll get you guys gameplay of the new PTR stuff for Season 21 very soon. Take care, have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next video. And I'm signing out. Peace.